Situated in the Balkan heart of Europe, Montenegro carries in its veins an intertwined history with neighboring nations such as Bosnia, Croatia, Slovenia, Macedonia, and Serbia, reminiscent of the days of the former Yugoslavia. With the disintegration of Yugoslavia, Montenegro and Serbia joined hands to form a federation. However, Montenegro's aspirations for independence found solid ground in May of 2006, when a referendum laid the groundwork for the emergence of the youngest country on the global stage to date. Although newly independent, Montenegro is no stranger to autonomy. Its saga dates back to conflicts with the Ottoman Empire in the Balkan sphere. The official recognition of its autonomy came with the Treaty of Berlin in 1878, a document that also sealed the independence of nations such as Bulgaria, Romania, and Serbia. In the year 1910, Prince Nicholas self-proclaimed himself as king, although his rule over the Kingdom of Montenegro lasted a mere 8 years. With the conclusion of the Great War in 1918, Montenegro was annexed to the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, which later, in 1929, evolved into the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. During the mentioned war, guerrillas under the leadership of Tito found refuge in the rugged Montenegrin mountains. After the liberation of the region in 1944, Montenegro emerged as one of the 6 constituent republics of the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. In the early 1990s, Yugoslavia fragmented, leading 4 republics to declare their independence. Serbia and Montenegro, in turn, established a new federation in 1992, with Serbia playing a dominant role. In 1996, a referendum indicated a preference for union with Serbia, albeit under controversial electoral circumstances. However, under the leadership of Milo Đukanović, Montenegro adopted a more autonomous stance, initially adopting the German mark and later the euro as its currency. This distancing movement culminated in the decision to seek full independence, which was realized after a referendum in 2006. Today, Montenegro, besides being considered the newest country on the planet, stands out for its progressive legal framework. In certain regions, for example, nudism is allowed, reflecting a unique combination of its rich historical past and a contemporary and liberal outlook, exploring Montenegro's path to independence, the newly born nation. Despite delays in holding the independence referendum in 2002, a significant breakthrough occurred in 2003 when a collaboration pact was signed between Serbia and Montenegro, endorsed by the European Union. This pact signaled the formal end of Yugoslavia, paving the way for the federation between Serbia and Montenegro, and outlining the provision for an independence referendum by 2006. Montenegro's desire for sovereignty was realized in May 2006 with the execution of a historic referendum. Garnering 55% of the votes in favor, Montenegro severed ties with Serbia, acquiring the status of the world's youngest nation. This remarkable achievement coincided with another major event, the 2006 FIFA World Cup, in which Italy emerged as the champion. Notably, despite the separation between Montenegro and Serbia occurring a month before the tournament, the nations competed as a unified team due to the previously established schedule. After the competition, the sports federations of each country structured separate football teams representing their respective nations in future competitions. Montenegro, geographically situated in an intriguing landscape, shares its borders with Bosnia to the west and northwest, Croatia to the southwest, Serbia to the north and northeast, and Albania to the east and southeast. Despite cultural connections with Serbia, the aspiration for political autonomy has always resonated strongly among Montenegrins, enjoying broad popular support. The journey towards political autonomy not only culminated in Montenegro's emancipation, but also can serve as a bridge towards closer ties with the European Union. Montenegro, with its area of 14,000 square kilometers and a modest population of 650,000 inhabitants, predominantly Christian with a notable Muslim presence, yearns to solidify its national identity. Surprisingly, even though it is not a member of the European Union, the country has adopted the euro as its official currency, reflecting its European aspirations. Montenegro's narrative is a captivating chronicle of resilience and the pursuit of autonomy. Its position as the world's newest nation highlights its unique journey and the potential for deeper integration into the European mosaic in the years to come. If this video has been helpful, please remember to give it a like. Your support is what motivates us to continue offering quality content. Now let's explore Montenegro's economic situation. Situated in the Balkans region, Montenegro went through a tumultuous separation from the former Yugoslavia. Currently, it heavily relies on foreign investments and resources. Its domestic sector is not very strong, resulting in a primary dependence on imports from neighboring countries in Europe. If there were a distancing from Europe, Montenegro could face an adverse economic scenario. Tourism and international corporations constitute the largest sources of revenue for the country. However, when examining the banking sector, there is a lag. Digital services are not at the same level as in countries like Brazil, and often simple transactions require a physical visit to the bank. In the Transparency Index, which measures levels of corruption, Montenegro is positioned 65th, on par with Cuba and China, in a list of 180 countries. To provide some perspective, Denmark, considered the least corrupt, tops the list. In the realm of taxation, Montenegro establishes income tax rates ranging from 9 to 15%, applicable to both individuals and companies. Regarding VAT, value-added tax, the rates are 7% for services associated with tourism and essential products. Additionally, a 15% rate is applied to various income categories. For salaries up to €700 per month, there is no tax. For income brackets between €700 and €1,000, the rate is 9%. For amounts above that, the rate increases to 15%. Now, let's outline the financial landscape of residing in Montenegro. The cost to rent a standard apartment in the country ranges from €350 to €700, although this amount can fluctuate based on location, included furniture, and the condition of the furnishings. Let's assume you rent a property for €400. For a residence with 2 or 3 people, the electricity expense would be around €50. An advantageous aspect is that water in Montenegro is drinkable, eliminating the need to buy bottled water. Fiber optic internet connection, fast and stable, has an average cost of €20. And there are some additional expenses to consider, such as rental fees and taxes, which typically amount to €15. Regarding food, anticipate an approximate budget of €300 for 2 or 3 people. Today, the minimum wage in Montenegro is around €530. While it may seem modest by European standards, the country has a lower cost of living compared to many others in the region. Regarding healthcare, Montenegro's public healthcare system is not outstanding, but is satisfactory. If you have formal employment and contribute properly, you can access this system without extra costs. However, there is also the option to turn to private healthcare, which includes private practitioners and affordable prices. For example, a blood test at a private clinic costs between €20 and €30, saving the need to visit a public hospital. For more straightforward medical procedures, such as a minor kidney surgery, the cost can be around €1,000. A dental checkup, on the other hand, is quite affordable. In terms of leisure, Montenegro provides a fairly liberal environment on its beaches. It's common to see both tourists and locals enjoying the sun and the sea with minimal or no clothing, without any taboos. This freedom reflects the relaxed atmosphere that the country offers. In terms of safety, Montenegro stands out for its low crime rate. The prevailing peace on the streets allows for enjoyable evening strolls without the fear of unpleasant incidents. Furthermore, traffic flows smoothly, free from the typical congestion of large cities, making for quick and stress-free transportation. Despite its compact territorial size, the country does not suffer from vehicle overcrowding, and finding a parking spot is never a daunting task. You won't have to endure long hours in traffic. It's possible to cross Montenegro from end to end in just a few hours, making the country extraordinarily accessible. As for language, Montenegrin is the official language. However, if you are fluent in Serbian, Bosnian, Albanian, or Croatian, you will feel at home since all of these languages share common cultural roots with Montenegro. On the other hand, English is not widely spoken, which may surprise and disappoint some visitors. This language barrier is especially noticeable in governmental instances, where communicating in English can be a challenge. Therefore, it's prudent to have a translation app available or learn some basic phrases in the local languages to facilitate interaction during your stay. In the realm of religion, Montenegro reveals a deep connection to the spiritual. While strolling through its narrow streets and wide avenues, it's nearly impossible to ignore the numerous churches that enrich the local landscape. Although there is a fusion of Catholic and Islamic faith, Orthodox Christianity is the predominant religion embraced by the majority of the population. However, Muslims form the most significant religious minority in the country. Demographically, Montenegro is a young nation, with an average age hovering around 30 years. Life expectancy, standing at 73 years for men and 78 years for women, surpasses the global average of 68 years, reflecting a certain level of advancement in the healthcare sector. It's worth noting, however, that Montenegrin culture can be perceived as conservative, particularly concerning homosexuality. LGBTQ+ visitors may prefer to exercise discretion, especially in public places, to avoid negative reactions. In Montenegro, moderation in alcohol consumption is a respected cultural value. Excess is viewed unfavorably, presenting a cultural contrast that may catch visitors by surprise, especially those coming from countries with more permissive norms regarding alcohol consumption, such as Lithuania and Ireland. Despite these cultural peculiarities, Montenegro emerges as a captivating option for those who aspire to live in Europe without the hefty tax burden associated with other countries on the continent. It becomes an enchanting destination for digital nomads and long-stay tourists, offering affordable living costs and a simplified way to avoid tax residency. If you have had the opportunity to visit or plan to explore Montenegro, we look forward to hearing about your experiences and impressions. Thank you for following along. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to click the like button and subscribe to continue receiving our updates. Until next time.